Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you some of the processes that you can carry out so that you can get fruits throughout the year. We are going to go step by step and see how we can get fruits even off season. We're going to show you how you can maximize the production of your crop, how you manage them during flowering, how you manage the blooms or the flower blooms, how you help catalyze the pollination process, how you take care of the young fruits until they get ready for harvesting. The first thing to do is to prune them. Dragon fruits normally give so many branches, especially if you are feeding them well. And if you do not prune them, then it will mean that a lot of energy will be used by the branches and even to bear more branches. So what you're supposed to do, especially during summertime, is to do thorough and intensive pruning. That way you'll trick the plant to give flowers. After pruning, you give them about 2 to 3 weeks. When in that period of 2 to 3 weeks, you must feed them well with enough organic matter, enough water, and you keep your garden clean, free from other competitors, that's weeds. You make sure there are no weeds in your farm. After that, you now get into installing full spectrum light emitting diode bulbs in your farm. The purpose of these LEDs is to activate or accelerate the process of photosynthesis. So we are going to use full spectrum plant grow LED light bulbs. A full spectrum light bulb refers to a bulb with electromagnetic wavelengths of light that are produced by a light source and are used to promote plant growth. So in this particular video, I'm going to show you how we are going to use these bulbs for accelerating the process of photosynthesis in our dragon fruits. Plants use light for their photosynthetic active radiation. Now these active radiations, or rather these full spectrum bulbs produce radiations. They produce light with wavelengths of between 400 to 700 nanometers. Human beings are able to detect visible light spectrums of 350 and above up to 700 nanometers. However, plants, on the other hand, can detect wavelengths including visible light and beyond. That include ultraviolet and infrared spectrums. Notably, full spectrum light source affects plant growth differently depending on things like environmental conditions, the type of crop that you are growing, and even the region. Typically, A chlorophyll molecule in a plant is responsible for converting the light energy into chemical energy. Dragon fruit plants, or the leaf for the dragon fruit, is white. It will act as a good solar panel to your plant. Dragon fruit leaves are the solar panels to your plant, and therefore they will absorb the light spectrums for the photosynthesis process. Well, a full spectrum light source, rather bulb, will produce red, blue, and green, or the so-called RGB lights. As farmers, we need to take advantage of these LED plant grow lights, particularly to enhance or to increase our production, since their full spectrum capability and low heat wastes with extended lifespan gives us a good deal to get into this plant growing process. The RGB setup in full spectrum light source means that we will get a complete spectrum of light similar to the one given by sunlight. This means that the wavelengths of the broad spectrum lighting include a wide range, as I said, of 400 to 700, which we see as color, plus invisible wavelengths like infrared and UV, that's the ultraviolet. One advantage of these LED grow lights is that they are able to produce certain wavelengths for specified periods during day or night. Since in this region we normally get full sunlight from morning to the evening, then we are going to utilize the daylight energy by using solar panels. Then we store that energy in batteries. During the night, we are going to convert that stored energy, which is stored in batteries, to AC and connect to these bulbs. The red and blue lights are the most efficient and most useful for photosynthesis due to the high amounts of chlorophyll, which is largely found in those two spectrums. The structure for dragon fruit leaf and branch gives it an advantage of having a bigger surface area for the absorption of chlorophyll through natural sunlight as well as LEDs. That's natural sunlight during the day and the LED grow lights during the night. Both the red and blue lights spectrums are essential for the plant. It helps the plant to produce healthy stems, branches, well-established fruits, and even the root structure, which helps in absorption of nutrients from the soil. Our systems are designed and developed using detailed technological research, keen observation while on field, and embedding both technology and science in agriculture. Our aim is to give growers knowledge on how best they can grow their plants or quality fruits with consistent supply while optimizing their yields. One of the systems that we have developed is an automatic irrigation system that we are able to customize by ourselves the way we want, depending on the temperature, humidity, among others. We are going to show you how to develop the system step by step on your own and customize it, or rather have the freedom to customize your system the way you want. In our farm, that's Source Code Organics Farm, we are in constant research on how to provide solutions for our crops and farmers across the world, and how we can fight food insecurity using modern methods and still developing our skills while giving solutions to the world. We are going to show you how to go about the connections of the electronic systems, how to go about the coding for similar tasks, how to work with the system in general. So let's get into it. So these are the materials that you need for the job. You need a UNO board. The second thing that you need is a USB cable. You have it here. Then an LCD screen, this type LCD screen. Then you need a module. That's for the network. This is a module. You can see it here, the module. The other thing that you need still that works with the module is the card. This card, it goes together with the keychain, this one. Record the keychain, this one. You still need a joystick module. This is a joystick module, this one. Joystick module. You also need a keyboard. This is a keyboard. And also RTC module. It has a CMOS, as you can see. This is a RTC module. The other thing that you need is a water sensor. This one, water sensor, as you can see. Yeah. Again, you need humidity sensor here, humidity sensor. Again, RGB module. You also need a motor driver module here. The motor driver module, you can see it has a jumper in here, so it's another thing that you need. And the motor, of course, here is the motor that you need. You also need a channel module. This one, we're going to use it. Channel module. And a breadboard that we're going to use in the process, together with its jumper wires. Here we have lots of them. We also need a sound sensor module here. And a 10 kilo ohm variable resistor. We also need digital tube. These are single channel digital tube, and we have the 4-channel digital tube here. As you can see, it comes together with the matrix tube, the 4 digital channel. It also comes with a remote control, as you can see here. And we have both capacitive soil moisture sensor, you can see, as well as resistive soil moisture sensor. We also have the DC cable, the battery to the board cable, this power cable. We have resistors with different resistance. As you can see, all these are resistors. You can see here. We still have the 9G servo that we are going to use in the process. And we have switches here. The switch. We have a good number of switches. We have ball switches here. They very much resemble capacitors, but they are switches. Call them ball switches. We still have the flame sensor, which again resembles the LEDs or the light emitting diode. It's a sensor here. Then we have the photo resistors, as you can see them here. Here we have them. We are going to use them in the process. We still have a bunch of LEDs that we are going to use in the process. And of course we have our number 1 tool, that's the soldering gun. As you can see here, it's a soldering gun that we'll use for the job. So basically that's what we need for us to get started. We need all these materials for us to get started. Okay, now let's go ahead and assemble them. So our moisture sensor has 4 pins. The analog output pin here, the digital output pin, the ground, and the VCC. So we are going to see how we go about the connection. So let's connect the VCC first pin, or the first pin here of the moisture sensor, to 5V pin on the breadboard here. We have connected the VCC to number 5 on the board. Then we are going to connect the ground pin here on the sensor to ground on the board. Ground on the board to ground on the sensor. The other pin that we are going to connect is the analog pin to the A0 pin on the board. A0 pin to analog pin on the moisture sensor. Okay, let's plug this. It has just unplugged. We plug it well that way. Okay, now let's take our breadboard and then we connect. We are going to connect ground here. Use pin 2 to ground on the board. Ground on the breadboard to ground on the board. Now we are going to connect the LED here and the resistor. So we are going to connect it this way. The LED has two pins, the long, that's the anode, and the short one, that's the cathode. So we are going to connect the cathode, the short one, to one end of the resistor. So let's connect it. That way, we just connected here. Okay, the short pin, we connect it to one of the short pin, we connect it to the resistor here, right? Then the other end we connect to ground. Resistor, one pin to the ground, the other pin we connect to the anode. Just make sure it's firm. So the next connection is for the cathode. That's the long pin for the LED. The long pin, we are going to connect the long pin to pin number 7 of the board. Long pin to pin number 7 of the board. The next we connect the sensor, the remaining bit of the sensor, that way and here. So we have our sensor. The other part that we have just connected is the USB. This is the part that we are going to connect to the computer when we write the code. So what remains now is the code. We are going to write the code and run it and see whether our connections and our code are working well. So let's go. So let's get into the code. Let's define the pins. The sensor pin to be A0 and the LED pin to be 7. Again, we need to define the variables. Let's define the variables. So the sensor value will be default 0. Next, we are going to initialize the communication serial. That's to begin at 9600 bound rate. After that, we are going to initialize the LED pin. So that's how we go about it. Then next, we read the analog value from the sensor. Remember, from our connections, we connected the analog pin to or the sensor to analog port for the UNO Arduino. So we are going to read, or the sensor is going to read, and then the code will be executed. So it will print the value for the sensor, and then we are going to set a condition. When the sensor value is more than 3000, then the LED will turn on, else it will turn off. Well, let's be exact here and define, because if you get 3000 as the value, then it will bring about confusion. It will be confused whether to turn on or to turn off. So let's add greater or equal, right? So when the value, or when the sensor value is greater or equal to 3000, then the LED will turn on, else it will turn off. We need to add the delay time to the second. So if you run it, first you need to set the board that you are using. So if you are using, for example, in my case, I'm using Arduino UNO, so we just need to set it here. We have different types of boards. We have Nano, we have Mega IDK, among others. In my case, I've used Arduino UNO. After that, we are going to load the data or the code to the board. Here, click load board data. After that, now we can check on the serial monitor. So when you click here, the LED will turn off. Why? Because it's less than 1000. Let me expand the serial monitor screen. So as you can see, it keeps on changing, and it's less than 3000. Now let's change the code and see what will happen. Less or equal to 3000. So again, you click on tools, load board data, tools, serial monitor. The LED is on. Why? Because the value, the sensor value here, let me just expand, is less than 3000. So we have indicated that if it's less than 3000, then the LED will be on. So as you can see on this other end, the LED is on. Next, we are going to run our code and see whether the conditions that we have given will work. We have said that if the sensor value is less than 3000, then the LED will turn on, else the LED will turn off. So let's upload our data in the board. We load the data, then we run the serial monitor. Good. Our serial monitor is running, as you can see here. If you touch the sensor, then the values will change. Now let's change the value or the sign, or the condition rather. Let's change the condition from less than to greater than, and upload our data on the board. Let's reload the data. That's it about the moisture sensor. We'll use it for a project. So next we are going to connect to the water system, having set that condition. And for the breadboard, we are going to use the plain circuit board or the PCB to do the connections.
other than the breadboard. So let's get to the next thing.
On day 1, we are going to install the full spectrum LED bulbs. Then we will switch on at around 10 p.m. for about 6 hours up to around 4 a.m. in the morning. This process will continue for the next 21 days consecutively. Then we will switch off the bulbs. We switch off lights after 21 days to avoid the influx of so many flowers in our plants. If you leave them for the next 1 or 2 weeks, you'll have so many flowers, and that will cause traffic in absorption of uh, nutrients from the soil. So you need to regulate them until that wave of flowers is done. In my previous video, I shared on the reasons as to why you need to intensively prune your plants. If you got so many branches, definitely you'll get few flower buds, and there will be a lot of competition from the many branches. Therefore, in as much as we need the branches and even the flower buds, it's worth it pruning the branches as well as thinning the flower buds. Otherwise, having so many branches uh, and a few flower buds, it's a loss to the farmer. At the end of the day, we are out to maximize our production. That's very key. On day 21, you will see the emergence of new flower buds on the branches of your plants. These will run for the next 7 days. Potassium and phosphorus are very key at this critical flowering stage. Nitrogen is also key. However, you should apply it in minimal amounts. Some of the sources of potassium and phosphorus are banana peels. You can use them as a supplement for potassium, phosphorus, magnesium, calcium, and even sulfur for your plants. They have high levels of those minerals. You can also use wood ashes. Wood ashes contain potassium as well as metal oxides. Metal oxides are good for general plant health. They also accelerate plant growth. Another source for potassium is eggshells. Whenever you peel your egg, you can use them as a source of potassium. Farmyard manure is high in nitrogen. You should apply it in minimal amounts or don't apply it at all at this stage. Otherwise, if your plant gets too much of nitrogen during flowering, then you will end up losing your flowers. They will definitely abort at some stage, and more energy will be directed to the branch instead of the flower bud. Yeah, Moroccan red is one of the red flesh varieties. Very sweet and grows vigorously. We still have some more here, as you can see. Here. Yes. And we got some yellow variety. This Isis. This one has got about 5 days. We still have another one here. This yellow Isis. Give it about 5 days, then it will be ready. We give this one about 3 days, it will be ready. And we got some more here. As I said, summertime here. It's hot and dry, but still this desert fruit manages to give the best and juicy fruits, as you can see. We have others here. This Vietnam white. It's white flesh. Red skin, white flesh. Still a nice fruit that you can enjoy. Quite a good number of them. They are really big, as you can see here. All these Vietnam white, as you can see. We got some yellow variety here, Isis, with lots of fruits. Some medium size, still have small size, and yes, some are big, as you can see. Isis is self-sterile, meaning that it does not pollinate itself. You have to source pollen from other varieties. This one here is about 800 grams. This one pollinated successfully. These ones here, as you can see, they are small. They did not pollinate at all. We got some others here which are still big. Yeah, this one, it means they pollinated successfully, as you can see. With mixture of sizable fruits, small, medium and big. Like this one is about 700-800 grams. We got some new flower buds here. Then we have this one here, still with quite a number of fruits. Right, we still have some more here. Some are really big. This should be about 900 grams, this one. It's really big. And yes, as you can see, wow, this is giant Vietnam white, really big. It'll be about 1.2 kgs. Yes, we have another one here, still giant Vietnam white. And yes, on this other end we have Moroccan red here, still big. They're doing well. Wow, wow. This must be the giant of all. Not sure, but it must be more than 1 kilogram. We got some more here. As you can see. We got some fruits to enjoy. As you can see here, we have good fruits here with they are really big, as you can see, and yes, they look healthy. Okay, let me take a 360-degree view on this plot. Got some reds, some yellows, some reds with white flesh. Yes. All right. Wow. That's it about maximizing our production using modern technology and embedding technology in farming. If you find this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and remember to subscribe to our channel for more updates. You can drop your comments about this video down below in the comment section. You can also reach us on the WhatsApp number below in the comment section as well. Happy DA farming and bye.